Welcome back to the wheelchair series. Today we are in the primary bathroom. So the first thing that I notice in this bathroom is the toilet room. All right, this toilet room, the door is 2.0. I already know I'm not going to fit in there, but we're going to try anyway just for fun. So let's the tight little quarter right here. So I got turned around to get into the room, but I'm not going to fit through the doorway. Aww. And this is another instance where this is a very small toilet room. So even if I were able to get into the room, I can't do anything once I'm in there. I can't turn around. I can't get myself from the chair to the toilet. There's no transfer space. If I needed help doing that, there's absolutely not room for me, the wheelchair, and somebody to help me. So 3 out of 3, there's no toilet in this house that I could use if I ended up in a wheelchair.
Boo!
Which is the problem. Over here, we have a bathtub, which, I guess I could use if I had help getting in and out, but I would prefer one of the accessible tubs with the door and the seat. That would be a lot easier for someone to help me get in and out, or, as you age, that's just easier in general. As we wheel further into the bathroom, this is actually a very spacious restroom, and someone in a wheelchair can easily maneuver around in here, which is great. However, we have the same problem that we had in the kitchen, where there's no knee space for me to wheel up to the cabinets and be able to use the sink head on. I could use a side approach and wash my hands or do what I need to do, but if I was permanently in a wheelchair, I would absolutely need knee space to be able to wheel up to the sink and use it. And also, I would want my countertops lower. So temporary use, after a surgery, after an injury, if you're in a wheelchair, you can absolutely function like this. But if you are permanently in a wheelchair, you would definitely want the countertops lowered and to make sure you have knee space underneath the sink. Another thing that we often forget in bathrooms is storage. So this bathroom has an okay amount of storage, probably more than others. But with old age, with injury, with accessibility, and caretakers come a lot of supplies. So that's just another thought, is you definitely want to make sure you have a lot of storage in your restroom and counter space as much as you can. I think that's just usable anyway, but especially if you are in a wheelchair and you have a caretaker, that type of thing. Another thing to think about in restrooms, and also just accessibility in general, is planning ahead. So as a designer, I always like to plan for spots for a hamper or a trash can or anything that could be out in the way. If we plan ahead and we put this in a cabinet or in a little nook, it keeps it out of our wheelchair path and makes the room even more accessible, functional, and beautiful, quite honestly.